It's a blessing to welcome on one of the top players in 2022, a five-star, AJ Casey. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Pretty good. Well, this has been kind of a wild journey for you this past COVID year, and ultimately right now you're setting yourself up to go out there and play at Whitney Young, one of the top programs in Chicago, Illinois. Take us through this move and really what led you to Whitney Young.
Well, first off, my parents, we were looking for a house. We always been wanting to move. So we found one out here, and when we moved, it was going to be out of the other district. So we had to find a new school. It was going to be I was going to go out of state or I was going to stay in state. And my mom pushed my dad to urge me to stay in state. So we had a couple of schools we wanted to choose from, and we ultimately choose Winnie.
I know that the big appeal is going to prep schools, national schedule kind of situations, and I think you were considering some of that. Take us through how close that possibly ever was to you going to a bigger prep school, maybe even out of state.
It was very close. It was very tight of our decision of what we wanted to do, but my mom kind of forced the issue that she kind of wanted me to stay in state. So yeah, we just stayed in state and picked a school close to us.
Now, personally, I think that there are some states that if you stay in state and you play that kind of level, it's fine. Chicago is one of those areas
Mhm.
because there's very few nights you're not going to be going against another top elite player night out, and that's the
Mhm.
situation you're going to. We see this the talent in every single class out there. How excited to be back out here and be able to go against some of those top guys in the state?
It's very good, even though Chicago is kind of a low profile state, doesn't really have that many top recruits, as you say. But everybody plays hard. It's top competition to me every day because Chicago, we just have that grit and grind. Nobody really cares about like any rankings or nothing like that. People are coming after your neck, so it's very top competition every day, and it's very good.
I know playing basketball in Chicago is a little bit different than majority of states. I think you can put New York in that category too, where you mentioned you guys have that grit and guy mentality. Maybe even the guy's not as skilled as an elite prospect is going to come at you and he's going to be tough to go against. What's it like
Mhm.
kind of dealing with that? And also you having that own grit and grind mentality. How have you kind of like playing in that situation, that environment?
You got to be mentally prepared. They're gonna try to get in your head, try to do things to you. They're just gonna try to out tough you, but you gotta be mentally prepared. If you can't be mentally prepared, then you're not ready at all.
You're a guy that plays on the circuit. You're able to go out there and playing all over the country. How much different is playing in Chicago in the high school season compared to playing AAU and playing other types of guys that might not have that same mentality as you or guys in state?
It's definitely a difference. Even though the guys are more talented, I would say, but that mentality is probably not the same as Chicago's. Chicago, they come after your neck. Some guys on the circuit, the EYBL, they come after your neck, but they're highly talented. But I don't know, Chicago is just a different vibe feeling.
I know that some guys have said before that refs kind of let it get a little more physical in Chicago because it's just that natural
Mhm.
kind of game. Do refs in other states allow you to play more physical, or do you sometimes have to tone it back a little bit when you start playing in the EYBL again?
They allow you to play physical, I would say, but I would say in Chicago they allow you to play a little bit more physical than they usually do. But it's not that far of a difference. But I would say that they do let you play with a little bit more physicality though.
Absolutely. Well, let's kind of go through this high school career so far. It's been a journey for you. First year at Simeon, another kind of high school that's really well known in Chicago and pretty much around the country. You're playing with a lot of the
Mhm.
top guys. With Mod Bonham now, Jalen's on that team. You also have a guy like Antonio. Just kind of take us through what that team was like that freshman year for you.
That team it was a lot of ups and downs. But we finally kicked it into gear. Freshman year, I was just kind of getting used to things, going through the motions, I would say, finding my way on the team. But we started off the season. We started off the season good. We started off the season okay. Then we kind of had like a downfall, like mid season. Then end of the season, that's when we really started to pick it up. That's when we made our like our city playoff run and our state playoff run.
And you've kind of been this high profile guy. You continue to rise up the rankings, but everyone's known you as being an elite player. Everyone's known you're one of the better players in your class now for quite a few years. How are you able to come into high school and kind of have that stage and that name behind you and deal with that target on your back?
Well, you already know that you're gonna have the target on your back, so you have to just keep working and improving on your game and go out there and show why that you're the elite prospect and why you have the name and things like that.
You make the move then to Tinsley Park, where this really was the place that you blew up in the past year. You averaged big time game, 22 points a game, 10 rebounds, 3.2 assists, a little over 3 blocks a game. But what went into that move? Why did you choose to make that transition over to Tinley Park?
Well, I just kind of felt like I talked to my dad a couple of times. I just kind of want back to go back to my hometown area, play out there, and then so we went moved back out. I moved back out there, played out there, and it was just a good feeling playing out there, and I got to showcase my skill more out there.
If you have the season, hopefully you guys do. It's going to be a lot of big shoes to fill. You had Stewart's out there last year. Tyler Beard's out there. Really one of the better teams in the state. They're obviously moved on now to go to the different situations, and now you have a situation where you have Jalen, you have Xavier, along with yourself. What are your
Mhm.
expectations for this upcoming year, and what do you want to accomplish in your junior season?
If we have a season, I definitely want to win a state title. I've been there uh close my freshman year. We went down to Final Four. We lost on a buzzer beater last second shot. So like that's still implemented in my head. My sophomore year, I got bounced out by the second round. We lost to Morgan Park, a very good team. So like my junior year, if we have a season, definitely want to win a state title. And I played with a couple of guys already on Main Streets and everything. So I feel like that our team with Jay Sean Thomas, Grant Newell, Xavier, Dalen, as you said, I feel like that team is definitely prepared to win a state title.
This it won't be easy tasks. There's a lot of big time talent we already mentioned out there. But you personally, you know the guys out there. Who's your favorite guy to go up against in a game?
Oh, in Chicago, uh, to go against, there's a lot. See, there's a lot of talent in Chicago.
Mhm.
I probably I don't have a specific one, but I really don't know. I like to play against everybody. Everybody because in Chicago everybody is just coming for you. It's always a head to head game. And it's just so competitive. So I really can't pick a specific one.
I want to break down your game a little bit. You're listed as a power forward, but kind of watching you and knowing how you play, you're not really just one position. You can be called a power forward or whatever, but you're a guy that can bring the ball up sometimes. You can guy that spaces after the three. You can go guard the big man. You can guard pretty much anyone on the court. Take us through how you've been able to use all your versatility on a court.
Well, I've been working on my perimeter game as much as I can throughout this whole COVID the little lockdown or whatever. So I'm definitely a guy that can do it all. I say I can pass the ball, shoot, dribble, guard. I can do everything. But I'm definitely one of the most versatile guys I would say in my eyes. And I just have to keep working and striving to get to the next level.
In the future, not just college, but your ultimate goal is NBA. What do you see yourself developing into? What's kind of your ceiling? What kind of player do you think you can become down the road?
I feel definitely like I'm going to become a wing player. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I'm trying to develop to that wing slash stretch four. That can help out with the guards as well. So that's what I'm definitely working on too.
And you will bring a lot to the court. I mentioned you're very versatile, but overall, are there guys that you currently watch in the NBA, college, or somewhere else that you kind of watch that you kind of model your game after, take pieces from, and put into your game?
Oh yeah, definitely. Guys like Anthony Davis, I kind of pick and dissect different parts of people's games. I really don't have a specific person I look at.
Mhm.
So I would say like I look at Anthony Davis, for example, his mid range game, the way he posts up, his when he turns up and faces up. Kevin Durant, his pull up game, the moves that he uses to create his shot off the dribble. LeBron James, his passing ability, of course, and Westbrook's his mentality and his intensity and his motor. And also, I probably look at Paul George as well. So I try to pick those guys and implement it into my game as well.
Mentioned the first guy, Anthony Davis, and that is part of the greatness about growing up in a place like Chicago. You guys are known for basketball. There's a lot of rich history of really one of the meccas of basketball out there. And Anthony Davis is a guy that currently is dominating the NBA, but he's from where you've been through. He's kind of gone through your shoes, been a top level player, goes to college, does his thing now NBA. How have you kind of learned to follow his pathway, and how do you kind of want to watch him to see how he's done it as he makes it to his level to the NBA?
Just looking at we're both from Chicago, so obviously, and he's in the NBA, so obviously you gotta look up to him, see what he's about. But yeah, but it's just that close connection We're both from Chicago, and to see that that he made it out of Chicago, it just kind of makes me want to be the next one, you know. But definitely, he's definitely a role model in my eyes.
And we talked about that grit and grind mentality from out there. And that's the funny thing about a lot of guys out there. You guys flip on the switch when you guys step on that court. You guys are gonna be trash
Mhm.
talking, going at each other, a lot of energy. Once you get off that court, though, you're a lot more cool, you're relaxed, you're fun to talk to. How have you learned to flip that switch?
I would say it probably came on as when I actually started like playing. I would say like first I was playing like in like the red little rec leagues or and things like that. But like once I started playing with like mean streets, we was playing like in-state tournaments and stuff like that. Of course we were going like out of state sometimes, but it's all started with the in-state tournaments in Chicago, and I just kind of got my feel and groove for it. And once I figured out like okay, you got to actually play, these guys are like actually like coming, and I just got used to it and adapted to it. And like as soon as you step on the court, it's just like instant. Like you gotta go, you gotta play ball.
I know everyone talks about you, and you're one of the better, if not the best shot blocker in your class as well. And you're a power forward. Typically, that kind of belongs to the center position. How have you become such an elite shot blocker, though?
It all came from I would say probably started with mean streets, and
Mhm.
then Simeon. That's when I kind of like learned my defensive principles, help side, and things like that. A lot of weak side blocks. So that's where I primarily got it from. I would say, and I just been ever since then, like it's been implemented to my game. They did a great job of like teaching me my defensive principles, and I've been fortunate enough to actually like be like good at that. Because you can teach somebody something and like they won't be good at it, but I'm grateful to do it.
You are God's a 5 star, and anyone can make the debate that you're one of, if not the best player in your class. Where do you personally rank yourself, and where would you put yourself amongst all the other 2022 guys?
To me personally, I don't really look at the rankings like that. Rank is just an opinion to me. But I'm grateful and fortunate enough that I'm ranked that high and blessed, and I would keep striving for it. But I just go out there and play my game. I don't care what like the critics have to say or anything about that. I just go out there and play my game, be focused on myself.
No doubt. Well, at the end of the day, we all know that whatever college lands you eventually will be landing a big time prospect and most likely a future pro, and getting closer and closer to this recruiting process. Who's really talking to you the most? Who's showing the most interest? Who are you really the closest to at this point in time?
Um, I would say that like really like nobody stands out. Talking to everybody that's offered me, everybody's showing interest. But there's like really no school that sticks out. I'm kind of just going through the process right now, getting the feel. And the NCAA their basketball just started back up, so I'm definitely watching all the games. But yeah, I would definitely say I'm just going through the process right now. Nobody sticks out.
Let's head into some of these schools, one of which is the hometown team. And Illinois has been a relevantly
Mhm.
decent program, but right now they're on the rise. They're a top ranked team playing at a high level right now. What do you like about Coach Underwood and really the overall in Illinois program?
Oh, their program is great. They brought their program from the ground, and they're rising now. But the way they play, the style of play, they play fast. They get up and down the court. They get right into their sets, as you can see. It's more of a NBA level type of structure, I would say. But yeah, their program is amazing.
I would be staying home, and we know that the hometown appeal, hometown hero name is something that a lot of guys like. Is it something that appeals to you? Would being staying home close to family be something that would really appeal to you?
Oh yeah, being a hometown hero, a lot of people have done it before.
Mhm.
But I would have to pick between like what's my best interest and whatnot.
And a couple of the big programs out there, the most recent one is Maryland. They're an awesome program right now. They've really
Mhm.
built something where a lot of guys at the power forward position have gone pro. Jalen Smith's most recent guy. When you see a program like what Maryland's done and get guys at your position to the NBA, how much more does that stand out to you?
It stands out a lot. It tells me that they're getting their players at like my size, I would say, to the NBA, and that's my next dream. So that definitely stands out to me.
Indiana's another big program, and that's a program that clearly has been on the uptake still. They're kind of rebuilding right now, but they have a rich
Mhm.
history. But what do you like about them?
They had a couple of guys when I first started watching that came from Indiana, like Victor Oladipo, for example. But yeah, they have like you said, they have a rich background, so it all teams are going to go through that slump, that real rebuilding process. So it's just all up in the upcoming, you know. But yeah, definitely Indiana is a school.
Kansas is another one I want to touch up on. They are blue blood,
Hmm.
one of the more historical programs out there, but they do have a lot of stuff on the outside too. We know that there's a lot of legal stuff going on with the FBI and NCAA issue. When you look at a program that has investigations going on, what goes through your mind?
Um, I would just say like I wouldn't let that like bypass like any decision of mine
Mhm.
with the legal stuff and anything like that. I would still have interest in the school or whatnot, but I would say that has no effect on me whatsoever.
Now, how often are you talking to Kansas, and what's your relationship like with Coach Self and the coaching staff?
Uh, it's very good. Coach Howard, he came to one of my games at Simeon as a freshman. Um, and I didn't know after towards the game, he came and kind of approached me and talked to me. And my dad, he told me as well. But he's been there since ever since my freshman year at Simeon. We have a great relationship. I would say, and yeah.
Michigan's another big approach and appeal to guys because Coach Juwan Howard has done it. He's
Mhm.
been your shoes. He's made it to the NBA. He's won championships, and now he's a head coach at his alma mater, which is another big program in Michigan. Also, now the number one recruiting class in 2021. All of coming together, though. What do you like about Michigan and Coach Juwan Howard?
Coach John Howard, he's a great coach. Matter of fact, he's a guy from Chicago, so he got that Chicago connection as well. But we have a great relationship as well. Me, Coach Howard, and Coach Sadie Washington, we all have a great relationship, and their program is very good as well. I feel like they're doing great right now. As of when the season started back up. But yeah, Michigan is definitely up there as well. Like I said, that NBA pace that they have, getting their players ready to the next level, and then player development as well.
I feel a lot of players really like the idea of having a coach that has been in their shoes before. We mentioned Coach Juwan Howard. There's a lot of coaches out there. Coach Stackhouse, you got Coach Hardaway, a lot of coaches. What would it be like potentially being coached by a guy that's been in your shoes and accomplished and been an NBA player before?
It would definitely be great because just like as you said, those are the guys that actually been there and done it before, and they're giving you the knowledge that they got, and they're giving it back to you. So it'd definitely be a big step in my development as well as a player and what I need to know and do to get there to the next level.
And kind of build your dream coach real quick. I know a lot of guys have different takes on what they really want for their coach. Do you want yours more laid back, more kind of energetic, uptight? Do you like one that's played in the NBA, one that's coached in the NBA? Kind of just build your dream system, the dream coach.
I would say I love a coach that doesn't let their star player get past like anything at all. Because we have it's a couple coaches out there that like let their star player do what they want, and really doesn't get on them that much. But no, I like a hard nosed coach that gets into you and strives to make you better. A coach that's like like he's intense as well. I just feel like it makes me plays better, and always a coach that makes me wants me to get better with as well.
Without a doubt. There's another program that is considered a mid-major. I think now a lot of people regard them just point and sample as one of the better schools in the country, and that's Gonzaga. They started
Mhm.
landing elite players now for the very first time. Jalen Suggs, Dominic Harris, Julian Strother, and now they got in 2021. What do you like about Gonzaga?
I would say I've been watching Gonzaga for a while. I would say I started watching NCAA probably around sixth, seventh grade, and me and my friends we used to make the brackets or whatnot. And like Gonzaga was always in that like Final Four championship game for me, and like that's when I really started to watch and like dissect like why is Gonzaga like that, like why everybody has Gonzaga like Final Four always championship route. So yeah, I've definitely been watching them for a minute, and like they're definitely up there because they have the pieces as well. Like the guy that goes to the NBA, Brandon Clark, uh, Rule, just to name a few. But yeah, definitely.
Now, there is another huge thing for guys, and that's the potential of teaming up with someone. I know a lot of guys like coming together with friends and going to college. Is there anyone you've talked to now, whether it be from EYBL, Team USA camps, just high school, that you personally could see yourself potentially playing with at the college level?
I definitely got a couple of guys that I can see myself playing at the collegiate level with. But I haven't had any talks with those guys yet at all. But I definitely see myself a couple of guys that I have great relationships with off the court that I can see.
Who are some of those guys?
I can see like Sky Clark, Jalen Washington, Greg Glenn, Noah Bachelor, for example, just to name a few.
A lot of these relationships, I can imagine, started back at Team USA camp. And so kind of take us through
Mm.
that. You've been a part of 4 mini camps now, really have kind of become more of a veteran at those camps. What's it been like going to Team USA and getting that experience?
Team USA camp, it was great, because you had the older level guys there, the Kay Cunningham, the Greg Browns, the Sharifs, and it was just a learning process for me, for those guys to watching those guys and how they compete, and we were doing some of the things that they were doing as well. So it was just all a learning process, and I was just dissecting it in.
That's the cool thing about that because you'd mentioned you're a younger guy at the time. I think you're a sophomore, and you're playing against guys 2, 3 years older than you, established college guys that I found out even some of these guys became pros now at the G League. What was it like
Mhm.
battling against them, and what did you learn from guys like a Greg Brown, like a Cade Cunningham? What did you learn from this type of guys?
That everything well, the biggest thing, because I had a problem with it, everything doesn't have to be fast.
Hmm.
Patience is key. And I kind of really took that into my game as well, because at first I used to just play like fast and everything, but now I kind of play like take my time, dissect the defense. I kind of learn from those guys and what the way how they like create their shots, dissect the defense, see what they got, see what they don't got. So it was definitely I learned a lot from the older guys.
Now, from your first USA camp to your last one you attended, how much of a difference have you seen in your game?
I've seen a big improvement. Definitely not only skill wise, but physicality wise as well. I've been gaining weight. I gained over 10 pounds over the quarantine. But I definitely seen a big strive in my improvements in my perimeter game because that's what I've been mainly working on. But yeah, I love the improvements that I've been making.
We all hope that COVID's done for many reasons, but COVID shut down USA, traveling from FIBA, also just the mini camps, and I can imagine you'll be back at the next one whenever that starts up again. How would you be able to go into that now? As a junior and upperclassman, what do you want to accomplish and get done now in this next mini camp?
I just kind of want to go out there, establish my ground, I would say, and keep showing why that I'm still a high level prospect and show all the improvements that I've made over the COVID season.
When you get those situations, you're up against the other top guys that might be supposedly ranked higher than you, a little behind you, and this is just an environment that is the best of the best. How did your mindset change heading to those environments?
Your mindset has to change. You got to be mentally and prepared for anything. Because those you're going against high level guys that's on the same skill level as you, and they're ready as well. So you have to be ready as well. And there's no friends on the court. You guys could be like talking off the court and things like that, but once you step on the court, you got to be ready to go. So you have to have that dog mentality.
And you mentioned Sky, Greg, Noah, some of those guys that were with you at USA. Was that the first time you met those guys, or do you guys know each other prior to that? Kind of talk about those relationships.
I've met those guys. I met those guys there. The only one that I probably knew was probably Jalen
Mhm.
before, and Ty Rogers when he came. But I probably I only knew those two when we first went because Jalen plays on Main Streets with us. So yeah.
That first time you got a USA invite and you got that letter in the mail, or whoever kind of told you that, what was your initial reaction?
I was actually in my room playing my game, and my dad came in and he handed me an envelope, and I looked at the envelope. It was like USA, so I set it to the side. And then he came back and he was like, "You opened the letter?" And I was like, "Nah." And then like I kind of bypassed it, so I grabbed the letter again. I opened it, and it was the letter that I got invited to the USA camp. So I was just in shock. I like kind of stopped everything. I looked at him, and then he looked at me, and I was just like sitting there like, oh my God, I got it's a USA because you always seen like the Olympic guys.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like like thinking like, oh my god, like things like that. And I just kind of gave my dad a big hug and everything.
I think that's something that's right there with McDonald's, even higher to be able to represent the country and play across the country and the world. If that's an opportunity that COVID shuts down, you get a chance to go out there and play on the actual team, what would that be like?
It would definitely be great because you finally get back out there, play with your guys, in that type of environment and everything like that. So it's definitely going to be a lot of fire under you and a lot of excitement.
Now, to make USA, though, it's not just about your game. Obviously, you have to be elite, one of the best players, but to be able to make that, you also have the other aspect off the court, high character
Mhm.
guy, high academic. Who kind of instilled that in you?
My parents, I would say, my parents definitely. Um, well, with if there's no school, there's no ball. So you got
Mhm.
to get done. You got to get your classwork done before ball. School is first, and then ball is second in my household. So definitely, those my parents are definitely the ones that instilled that into me.
That were a few more things before I let you go. One of which is you've talked about Mean Streets, and that's would have been the AU team if you guys had a full URBL season. But why did you choose them? Why is Mean Streets the team you wanted to go run with?
Ministries. I've been playing with them since sixth grade.
Mhm.
So it's definitely since I started with them, I'm gonna end out with them. Um, I played with a couple other teams in fifth grade. Then we kind of went over to sixth grade because once again, like Anthony Davis went there, so I kind of followed in his footsteps. And then we had plenty of other guys that I didn't know that was on there before me, like the DJ Stewarts, the Tyler Beards, um, and so yeah, definitely.
Next year, it will be your final EYBL season. Obviously, you want to win Peace Gym, but out of the team that you potentially could have had this past year, if everyone stays on that roster for upcoming season, what could you guys accomplish in that final EYBL season for you?
I feel like that we can accomplish a lot. I feel like after the 15U, the Peace Jam, we had got knocked out. I feel like that lit a fire for everyone because we didn't go out the way we intended to go out. But we definitely had the fire and everything for the well, would have been this year if things didn't get canceled the EYBL season. But I feel like we're definitely gonna be ready for the next season.
Absolutely. I think I was like wrapping up with is talking about legacy, and I think all guys want to be able to create that legacy for themselves. So when you are done playing basketball someday down the road, what do you ultimately want to be remembered for? What do you want your legacy to be for what you achieve both on and off the court?
I just want to be someone that's been known for like the things I've done off the court, not only on the court. I kind of look up to like the guy that's like in the professional leagues, not only for what they do on the court but off the court as well, like donations and giving back and helping things around the world. And I kind of look at things like those are things that I want to do and accomplish in life and be known for, not only for on the court but off the court as well.
Is there a certain thing? I know like LeBron obviously wants to go back to his own community and rebuild all the stuff he's done. Some guys have an adoption, some have it in social stuff right now. Is there a certain kind of avenue of life that your heart's kind of directed to that you want to help someday?
I feel like I want to help out
Mhm.
everything to the best of my ability at that, like the health cares, the children, back at my hometown, if anything happens around the world. So my heart is everywhere. I love helping out and if anything that's in need, I love to do it. So I would say I have a good heart and I just love to give back to other people that's in need.
That's awesome, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you taking time to come on today, and I can't wait to see what God's got next for you. Of
Thank you.
course, you're always welcome on, man. God bless.
You too.